Oh yeah, it's definitely an honor. I truly appreciate you. I'm definitely inspired by your journey.
Awesome.
You done did a lot. You very creative. Let me see. Now I wanna for the viewers who may not recognize you, let them know who you are and where you from.
Sure. I am Maura Gale, actress, author, evangelist, just an all around creative. I guess you'd call me a multi hyphenate. I'm from Chicago, Illinois, and I'm based between Atlanta and Chicago.
Wow, that's what's up. Big shout out to the Chi Town.
Yes,
I'm from
sir.
Cleveland, so we
Oh,
got family
wow.
and cousins and stuff. Detroit, Chicago, Cleveland, the Midwest.
Yes, sir.
Now let me see. Now I was reading your profile. Now they said
Mhm.
that you actually entered the hip hop competition.
Yeah, so I was a rapper. I was a rapper. I rapped in high school and then I got submitted into a nationwide rap contest that Curtis Blow was hosting and I won it. And so it paid my way to college. So that was my introduction into the entertainment industry, rapping.
Wow, that's phenomenal. I mean, it's just amazing how something like hip hop started and then it was able to generate billions of dollars now. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people thought it
Absolutely.
wouldn't last.
Yep,
Big shout
they
out
thought
to
it was a
Curtis
one-hit
Blow.
wonder. I know, right? It was called A Rap
Right.
to the Wise.
Wow, he's a legend. I know I got a
Yes.
chance to interview an artist from Chicago. Are you familiar with Crucial Conflict, Wild Style?
Yes. I don't know them personally, but I'm very familiar with their artistry. Yeah. Oh, that's
Yeah, some
dope.
legend. Yeah. I mean, y'all
That's
got so
dope.
many creative people from that city. I mean, you got Kanye, you got Twista, you got Common, some of the
Yep.
greatest
Chance.
musicians on earth, you
Uh-huh.
know?
Uh-huh. Yeah. It's one of those artistic kind of states. Chicago is like known for, creativity. It's different than the New York and the LA, flavor, but we've got some people representing out here.
Right, most definitely. Now you do poetry as well. You do spoken word.
Yeah, I do spoken word. I call it a drive-by for Christ. That just means I take the word of God, I fill up empty holes with people's souls, fill them with love, joy, kindness, and peace, which is God's word, and it's unchanged. So I do drive-bys with no bullets across the country. People fly me out to different churches and events to do that. That's more on the ministry side of stuff.
Wow, that's real cool. I mean, that's very empowering. I mean, especially at a time like now, post COVID, a lot of our
Yeah.
people is dealing with mental health. People got stress,
Uh,
depression, anxiety, so they need different outlets. Not only on the spiritual side, but just being creative, listening to poetry, writing poetry.
yes.
So that's
Yes.
that's amazing.
It's very cathartic. I've been writing poetry since I grew up in the projects in Chicago. And then, so from until like fourth or fifth grade. And the stuff I saw, the violence, the alcohol abuse, the lack of resources, even at a young age, I wanted to capture that, and so I would just scribble on paper different things, and then it grew into a real gift because I had been honing it, journaling and writing about these experiences, short stories and poetry, and so now as an adult, I still write about different things that moved me from when 9/11 happened to COVID, just different, things that take place. I don't write all the time, but when something really moves me or inspires me, I have to do it the old-fashioned way. I can't like just put a note in my phone. I have to put pen to paper. I have to feel the labor of the pain. So I write my poetry longhand. That's the only thing I write longhand. Yeah, everything else
Wow,
is in the
wow.
computer. Yeah.
Okay, okay. I mean,
Mhm.
that makes people have a greater appreciation for poetry because a lot of times, they get the finished product. You on stage and then
Yep.
you letting your heart out. But like you say, you actually writing it, you going through the process and to create
Yes,
that project. A lot of people take that for granted, even with
they do.
music.
True that. True that. True that.
Let me
Yeah.
see. Now, did you have any like inspiration in terms of poetry? Like I don't know, do you have favorite
Well,
poems, poets?
there's Nikki Giovanni, there's Dr. Maya Angelou. I mean, there's some of those greats, but I write when I first started, I was writing in like a broken dialect where I would literally write slashes from Intozaki Shange, her Courier poems from For Color Girls Who Consider Suicide When the Rainbow Is Enough. I did that play and I was honored to do that play at the Steppenwolf Theater, which is a very reputable theater here in Chicago. And and so to bring her words to life, I played the lady in red in that particular stage play, and she my writing was like her writing, but I didn't know it, of course, until I saw her when I first read her book. When I first read For Color Girls, I realized I'm writing like this writer. So those were some of my inspirations, and in terms of when I write like broken dialogue, other dialogue, other poems, like Nikki Giovanni, like I said, it's just the raw emotion of what I'm feeling or what I'm seeing or what people are going through. Yeah.
Wow, wow, that's amazing. Shout out to the people you mentioned. Those are some giants. Um,
Yeah.
Now you got a chance to perform your poetry in different places. What are some of the
Mhm.
places that you got to perform, and how does that elevate that experience?
Well, I've done poetry. I'd say the height of my spoken word performance was when I was commissioned by the NAACP to write a tribute for the Rosa Parks movie that was screened back in the day. That was like the height of it. But I've been humbled to be able to, someone will say, "Hey, can you?" When Barack Obama was elected president, for example, someone hired me, paid me a couple of $100 to do an event for them. It was like a private event, but they knew that I wrote, and it was an honor. I would have wrote it for free. It was really just more of like a love offering, but to be able to put into words what the energy was around getting him elected was an honor to be able to etch that out. And then I also, I personalize poems for funerals, weddings, birthdays, retirement parties. uh, People just commission me to write about a particular event. So that's that's kind of nonstop. I don't do it as much because my acting is very demanding. But when I get an opportunity to do it, I'm always honored to be able to write someone's life story in a 3 to 5 minute poetic tribute.
Wow, okay, that's real cool. That's real cool. Now, can I ask you, when did you actually get into acting? Was that something you got into earlier in life or later on?
I got into acting in college, actually. After I did the rap album and went away to college, I used to sing. So it started off as rapping and singing, and then it morphed into acting because when I got to college, a friend of mine who knew I could sing asked me to audition for a stage play. And I went to Southern Illinois University in Carbondale, Illinois, and there were, I'd say, maybe 5,000 blacks, I think, but not a lot of blacks in the theater department. And because he knew I could sing, he asked if I would audition for a stage play. I had never acted before, and I said, "I don't know how to do that." And he says, "Well, you just read these lines and then you sing the song." And so I started reading the lines, and it was like breathing. It was the easiest thing I had ever done in my life. And so when I sang the song, the director, his name was George Penny, he says, "What year are you in the drama department?" And I said, "I'm not. I'm in radio and television," because I was studying radio and television at the time. And he invited me to a class for juniors and seniors, even though I was only a freshman. And that was the beginning of my acting career because once I realized that this was a natural gift, I just wanted to learn as much as I could about it, hone it, sharpen it, and then do it. And so then I performed lots of stage plays at SIUC, and then went on and I worked for CNN Headline News straight out of college because that was my degree was in theatrical broadcasting. That's a major I created that combined television, theater, dance, and music. And I moved to Atlanta about 4 months after graduating, and worked for Ted Turner and became a electronic graphics operator, camera operator, floor director. And then I retired from CNN Headline News in 1999. Not, I'm sorry, 1990. And I hadn't worked a job outside of acting since.
Wow, that's phenomenal. I mean, to be able to do what you love to do is one thing, but to be able to travel and get paid and that's amazing.
It's it's
People
been
dream,
sweet.
dream.
I feel
Very
like I'm
blessed.
living a dream, my friend. Living the dream.
Yeah, that's what's up. That's inspiring. Now I can ask
Thank
you,
you.
is this something that runs in your family? Like, do other people do poetry and act and
Not
sing and
at
rap?
all. I thought I was an orphan because no one was no one was in the arts and no one was into evangelism. And it wasn't until I went to a reunion, shout out to Detroit. I went to a reunion back in must have been mid 90s and found out that that side of my family was the artistic side. Like none of my immediate family members and none of my cousins that I grew up with were into the arts, but the other side of my family on my grandmother's side, they were anchors, sportscasters, singers, actresses, and so that's. But I found out about them after I had been retired and in the game for a minute. But it was still good to connect with them and know that I wasn't like the only one. Because it's weird when you're into arts and everybody, most of my family's all medical. I have a doctor, a dental hygienist, two registered nurses. My mother's a nurse, so all of them were into medicine, and I jokingly say they heal body, I heal spirit, uh, but I had no artistic family members here in Chicago, none.
Okay, okay, wow. Now let me see. Now you actually got into doing voiceovers. How did that come about? You did a
Yeah,
couple video games.
yes, I did. I love doing voiceovers. That's a matter of fact. I'm in the process of building my studio all the way out, my home studio. You probably see the foam on the walls in the back, and I was going to use my mic for the podcast to make sure everybody could hear me clearly, but I opted out because you got to put the cans on the headphones. So I was like, yeah. But I got into voiceovers. Excuse me, from doing I would just do the radio commercials, of course, but being in broadcasting, you learn all the aspects. I was a radio host. I did the Quiet Storm show for Southern Illinois University at a radio station in college. And then once I got to Atlanta and was working for CNN Headline News, I started doing more voiceovers. And so that I believe kind of came out of rap and spoken word, uh, being able to articulate what you want to say in a very clear way. Uh, I believe helps you. And then as an actress, bringing whatever words that the ad agency has written to life for the ear, because of course they don't have the visual to be able to see you do these commercials. So you really have to make sure that when you're saying a product, you're smiling through it so that when people hear it, they feel good about it. Those are just some of the little nuances you learn along the way from doing voiceovers. And I've done over, I don't know, 150, 200 commercials from, I don't know, 25 to 30 McDonald's commercials, American Airlines, Disney, Walt Disney World, just tons of voiceovers. And then I had a very wonderful agent. I'll never forget him, Steve Tisherman, from the Tisherman Agency, which is now TGMD. It was a pretty huge agency in LA. And he just believed in me. He'd send me out for everything from, he didn't box me into just African American projects because the net was much wider for different voices. He believed in me and would send me out for anything that he thought I was right for. And I would get booked for those. So when I got booked for the voice of Fortune from the Metal Gear Solid franchise, it was huge because there hadn't been an African American um, in that prominent of a role until I did Fortune or Metal Gear. So that was groundbreaking. And then I went on to do a voice with TC Carson, and we did Gilo, this character named Gilo. which it was another game.
Wow, that's real cool, man. Because I was in high school when Metal Gear came out for PlayStation. I think I was in middle school, high school, one of them, but that was a big game. You know, that's some people's favorite game. It's up there with the Resident Evils and the Tomb Raiders and
Yes.
whatnot. So to be a part
And
of
I
that, man,
It's crazy because I still get fan mail sent to my post office boxes from Belgium, Australia, wherever, and they're asking me, to sign their disc because it's I think it's the 25th anniversary this year, either this year or next year. And so people have been getting their paraphernalia signed and geared up, but it's cult like. It's cult like, and I'm honored that I was a part of that project. That was pretty phenomenal.
wow, big shout out to Fortune and Metal Gear.
Woo woo.
Now let me see. Now, have you did any cartoons?
I haven't. I would love to do some cartoons. I should probably I've not put that on my goal board, but I think I will because it would be fun to do that. I've got some G babies that I inherited through marriage, and they would get a kick out of that. So yeah, I think I'm gonna have to put that on the to-do list, the want to do list.
Right, that'd be dope. That'd be dope. Maybe like a proud family or something like that. You
Ooh,
know.
that would be cute. That would be cute. Or animation or a movie, just I think it would
Yeah,
be
yeah. Even
really
a
fun to
movie.
do that. Yeah.
That'd be dope. Now, okay, now you got a chance to co-write, co-produce, co-star in STEM, the movement.
Yes, stem the movement. So that project, oh, that's a labor of love project. So we initially did this project called STEM, which stood for Save, Tested, Edified, Manifested. It was a church production, but the difference is it was based on our real life stories, and we were talking about hard things: rape, molestation, abuse, eating disorders, suicide, thoughts of suicide, cancer, and we were bringing this to different churches. So we performed this particular stage play at Faithful Central Bible Church in California, Noel Jones City of Refuge. All these mega churches, they would invite us in. We would perform there. We did it in Northern California, and then we started branching out. We would just do it around the country because once it caught on that there was like ministry talking about things that churches felt was taboo, but we were doing it in such a real and raw fashion that people were getting healed by it. So we toured that stage play for 5 or 6 years, and then we just left it there. And then one of our cast members, one of the co-writers, actresses, Erin, she posted a clip from the stage play, and this was social media had taken off by then because when we originally did it, STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and math now. But when we launched STEM, that didn't exist. That's how far back we did this stage play. So the internet and the social media, I should say, wasn't as huge as it is now. So when she posted the clip, it kind of went viral. And the comments were, "Oh my gosh, I remember that play." And other people were like, "What is it?" So we decided to do a crowdfunding campaign to raise money to produce the film ourselves. And we raised the money and we shot it in LA, and then we released it in a DVD form. And so wherever we would perform it, people would also purchase the DVDs from us. And then we entered it into some film festivals, and we got accepted into a few, and we won the October Film Festival in New York. And that was just, I don't even have the words to say how amazing that was. Marvelous. I'll use my word. It was marvelous because it was our labor, our pain, our stories, not only being accepted, but being validated. And in New York. And it was my three best friends. So it was like all three of us had lived these stories, wrote about them. And when we would perform, people would come to us in tears saying, "There are stories that I've experienced that I'm going to take to my grave." And we were like, there's so much freedom in releasing them. And so it was medicinal, and it was powerful and unforgettable.
Wow, that's truly amazing. I got to take my hat off to you for that. I mean, because it's like you say, it was before social media became what it was, but even still,
Yeah.
like I say today, post COVID, because I had started like a mental health group for black men because the men they don't talk
Mm,
at all. You think the women is taking
no,
secrets to their grave? The men don't socialize or
they were
communicate at
saying that.
all.
Yep, the men were like, "Mm-mm, I'm not telling that. Nope, nope, Imma die with that." My nephews did
Right.
what you did during COVID. Both of my nephews are in the mental health space, and one just got his doctorate actually last year, but both have been doing it full time for years. And they started doing these closed sessions with men, group closed sessions, offering it, because they do what they do and they get paid for that. But they started doing these pro bono sessions because they knew, in light of the Black Lives Matter movement and all that we deal with that. And then COVID, they just felt like, hey, let's get some group of men together, and they would do these sessions. It was so necessary. So I applaud you for allowing there to be a space, a safe space for our men to heal, because you guys go through a lot. I mean, you go through a lot and you don't voice it. So you don't really get it out. So the fact that you would take time and be intentional, um, you know, applauds to you. Big props.
Oh, I definitely appreciate you. Okay, now I wanted to ask you about this. You
Mhm.
was working on the BET project. Is that Kingdom Business?
Kingdom Business. Yeah, I've got a couple of movies on BET streaming right now. So Kingdom Business, y'all not up on that. That's Miss Yolanda Adams and and Michael Beach and Sarai. It's a phenomenal production. That's actually, some of the co-producers are Kirk Franklin and Devin Franklin. They're not related, but I played Danny's mom in that, and I've done 4 or 5 episodes of Kingdom Business. So season 2 is out. I was in season 1, and then season 2 is now streaming on BET. And then, of course, the previous BET show, I mean, the other BET show that's streaming is Love and Murder, starring Taye Diggs. I play Mrs. Jenkins, the nosy neighbor. Oh, I had fun playing that little role, and it was a blast. Just playing a nosy character is just really kind of cool. I didn't realize I was gonna like that as much as I did, but I did. That was a really fun show. So yeah, so Kingdom Business and Love and Murder are both currently streaming. Yeah.
Okay, okay, cool. Shout out to
Mhm.
you named Yolanda Adams, Kirk Franklin. Those some giants, man.
Yeah,
Most
yeah. Taye
definitely.
Diggs,
Yeah.
he's the
Oh
star
yeah.
of Love and Murder, and that's based on a true story. Atlanta Playboy. There was a cat back in the day who got murdered, and so that's what that whole piece is. And Taye plays him. Taye Diggs plays him.
I'm gonna have to check that one out. Now
Hmm.
let me see. Okay, now I can ask you this: by
Sure.
being so multi-talented, do you have a preference? Like, do you hold one over the other, or
No, um, I used to love voiceover over everything, simply because I could roll out of bed in my pajamas and do it. But, I enjoy all of the mediums. I love film because it's just such a bigger screen, and you have more time to get into your characters. But TV, you get to see it relatively soon. I mean, for some projects, depends on the project. I've got a project that's not out yet, that I shot for Tyler Perry Studios. So House of Pain, that project is going to be released sometime this year, but I don't have the date for that yet. So some projects, for TV, you could see it a little bit sooner than some film projects, but stage, I love stage. Um, but for stage, the thing I love about stage is the instant gratification. Like, you instantly know if the audience is with you or not. And you instantly, get to feel the love because they're so much a part of the production. Uh, so I really, really, really love stage. It's just that stage takes a lot of time, and it's not as financially lucrative, but it is more emotionally and mentally fulfilling, if that makes sense. If you've ever done stage, then it definitely makes sense to you. And then voiceovers, of course, it's just I feel like I get to be a kid. Um, I just feel like I get to be a kid. I feel like this is like they're paying me to go into those jumping houses. I don't know what they're called, but it feels like they're paying me to go into a jumping house and have fun. That's how voiceover, as you could probably see, I feel myself like getting giddy about it. So maybe it's voiceovers. Maybe voiceovers is my yeah, maybe voiceovers is my absolute favorite, but I love all of the mediums, even the poetry and the evangelism, all of it. I love the variety of my life. I love that no day is ever the same. I love that I love each of the things that I do. Um, yeah, I do them for free, but I'm so glad they pay me because I love them that much. I would do them for free. No, don't get no ideas out there if you're a producer. I'm not working for free, but I love them that much.
Right, right, definitely. Wow, that's cool. That's real cool. Let me see. We're about 26 minutes in, so I got maybe like
Mhm.
one more question. Now, do you
Okay.
have any upcoming projects you thinking about doing a book or any more voiceovers or producing or writing or acting or any shows or
Yeah, actually I do. I am working on a book about my life, and I already have a book out called Beyond Blessed. That's an autobiographical page turner. But I'm working on a book since I've been married to my current husband. His last name, our last name, is January, although I don't really use that name publicly. But so I've got a book that I'm writing about us and the story of us. But one thing that I did want to mention to you that I didn't get to mention earlier, I played Laurence Fishburne's wife in a movie that's out on Amazon Prime called Under the Stadium Lights. So that was a pretty big project for me. And then my biggest acting project was playing in Oprah Winfrey's project, Their Eyes Were Watching God with Halle Berry and Terrence Howard. So that was one that kind of really put me on the map. But those are the projects that I've done. And then upcoming is just more. Just, I'm open to more. I'm auditioning every week. I've got a film I'm shooting in Atlanta next week. Not next week, 1st of March, the first weekend in March. So that's what's upcoming. And then streaming, as I've already shared, you can catch me on BET and then upcoming will be the Tyler Perry project from House of Pain.
wow, that's phenomenal. Yeah, that's Zora Neale Hurston's story. But like you say, Oprah and
Yes.
Halle Berry, and you don't work with Tyler Perry, Kirk Franklin, Yolanda. Man, that's amazing. Oh
It's
man.
been a good life. It's been a good and full circle moment. When I saw
Uh,
Yolanda Adams on the Kingdom Business shoot, I had realized, or I mentioned to her, I said, I used to MC for KJLH in LA. And so when I was an MC spoken word artist, I would open up for, Kirk Franklin, Yolanda Adams, Smokey Norfield, all of them, and Donnie McClurkin. So she and I started doing these evangelism moments backstage of Kingdom Business. So that was just dope because that was like years in between what happened. And we were both, she was singing and I was, doing spoken word. And here we were on set acting and evangelizing. Dope.
wow, wow, that's cool. Now, can I ask you, are you on social
Sure.
media or do you have a website where the
Absolutely.
fans can,
Yes. Yes, sir. Okay, big shout out. Mauragale.com. That's Mauragale.com. And then I'm on Facebook at Maura Gale. Also, my Facebook fan page is The Real Maura Gale. And then on IG, Maura Gale, YouTube is also Maura Gale, Snapchat, TikTok. All of them. Oh, Threads, the newest, is also at Maura Gale. No Y, no I. Gale like shoes on sale.
Okay, okay. Wow, thank you so much. It's been a phenomenal episode. I'm definitely gonna
Thank
go back and
you.
check out some of those projects I missed. Man, I just want to say keep up the great work. I definitely look forward to what you got going on in the future, and I know the viewers gonna tap in with you as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Totally enjoyed it.
All right, no doubt. So until next time, family, it's been a Phenomenal episode of Taye Speaks. Peace.